Good evening. An exciting day around the Kavakis household again. We had our appliances, part of them, were delivered today. They're excited. Big truck pulls up. We've got spaces created in the kitchen. We're ready for them and everything. They start taking things off the truck. They delivered 3 appliances. 2 of them had to go back because they had damage. It was a little bit of a disappointment. The movers were really nice about it, but don't know what happened. The refrigerator had damage on it. The washer had some pretty severe damage on it. So it was a little bit of a disappointment. Things didn't quite go the way we wanted them to go. And I want to talk to you about that tonight. I want to talk to you about when things don't go the way we think they should go. So let's relax for a few minutes. I've got some white monkey tea here. Very nice, very delicate. I don't have a whole lot of it, so I've been using it sparingly. Put a little bit of honey stick in it, and I'm enjoying it. And so get yourself something and let's relax and let's turn to, when you're ready, the book of 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy, we're going to be looking at chapter 1. So Paul has this greeting, writing the second letter to Timothy. He's left him in Ephesus. He's an elder of the church. Timothy's having some struggles. Things have not gone the way Timothy probably thought they would. He's a young guy. He's taking a little bit of flack from the people around him, dealing with some difficulty. Paul has to write him 2 letters. They're all both letters of great encouragement. What's unique about 2 Timothy is it's Paul's very last letter. It's written from Rome. He's in jail. He probably acutely aware of the fact that the executioners are going to come for him at any moment. So it's Paul's last words, and I had the honor to preach through 2 Timothy about a year and a half ago, and it's the embodiment of everything that Paul thinks is important. He's penning his last words to his greatest protege. He wants to turn the ministry over to him. So these are the things that were really important to Paul. So he starts out with this greeting. Then he says in verse 3, I thank God whom I serve, as did my ancestors, with a clear conscience, as I remember you constantly in my prayers, night and day. He wants to let Timothy know that he's praying for him all the time. As I remember your tears, when they parted, Timothy was sad to see his friend go, his mentor. As I remember your tears, I long to see you, that I may be filled with joy. Paul knows he's probably not going to see Timothy again. But at the end of the letter, he does say, well, if you can come, hurry up. I don't know how much longer it's going to be. Bring my coat, bring my books. In verse 5, he says, I am reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and now I'm sure dwells in you as well. So he gives Timothy this encouragement. I miss you. I want to see you again. I want to remind you of the long tradition of faith that abides in you through a couple generations. This is all great encouragement. And then in verse 6 he says, for this reason I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands. For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Now, Timothy's struggling. He may be afraid. Paul mentions fear a couple times in his letters to Timothy. He might be a little bit intimidated by the situation. And in all likelihood, as Paul left Timothy and left him in charge, Timothy may have thought, well, this is going to be great. I'm in charge. I'm a protege of the great Paul. And things just haven't turned out the way he maybe hoped they did. Now, so the question becomes, is Timothy disappointed? Does he need this level of encouragement from Paul? Paul has some wisdom here. He has some discernment. But he wants to remind Timothy of something, that God has given Timothy a gift. And the gift needs to be nurtured. It needs to be nourished. It needs to be practiced. It needs to be grown and strengthened. So he tells Timothy to fan that gift into flame. And so the imagery here is that Timothy's going to work on learning how to use this gift, on making it effective. Now, in other of Paul's writings, we see a number of times that we have all been given a gift. So, as he tells Timothy to fan his gift into flame, he's telling us that whatever gift we have, we should fan into flame. Now, this is not to just conjure up some excitement and get all emotional about the gift we've given. It's a process that has to occur. When I was called into the ministry, I knew that I was called to preach. I didn't know much about preaching, but I was eager to learn how to do it. It takes a lot of work. And I think any of us working in any area of gifting, it doesn't always come naturally. We have to work at it. We have to practice it. We have to fan it into flame. So as we embark on our weekend, as we look at the possibility of worshiping together, we're going to have some people outside this weekend, and we hope to organize that a little bit better the following week. What gift has God given you? You know what gift you have. You know what you're good at doing or what you have a great desire to doing. And how do you fan it into flame? Well, you fan it into flame by using it. You practice it. You offer it up. And you know what? None of us are perfect at our gifts. We will all stumble from time to time. There will all be times when we stutter when we're speaking, or we sing a bad note, or we do something. Kelly and I have learned very vividly that sometimes when you try to put something together in your kitchen, it falls apart. And that's going to be disappointing. But Paul wants to encourage Timothy that God has given him the gift and that he should not be discouraged and that he should work at fanning it into flame. I pray that you can discern the gift you've given, that God has given you, and that you will be able to work at fanning it into flame for God's glory, for your peace, for your joy, and give all of that thanks back to God for what he's doing in you and through you. I pray that blesses you. I pray you have a fantastic weekend. I pray that you feel the presence and the power of the Spirit, and that you know that you're walking with the Lord, that he'll never leave you or forsake you, and that he wants good things for you, and that he's given you a gift, and he's asking you to fan it into flame. I love you. I miss you. I'll talk to you later on this week.